What we know about our father was through the films that he made, because we didn't know him personally. He never spent any time at home. He was always at work. I think he knew that he had a certain amount of specified time to finish the work that he wanted to do. But the impact of Do Bigha Zamin, I felt this because I've moved from, I've lived in Bombay, Calcutta, and Hyderabad. So my siblings have not moved out of Bombay. And I've seen the impact it had all over the country. I mean, it was amazing. When I went to the South, I used to feel very ashamed because I knew nothing about South Indian cinema. And I was amazed to see how much they knew about Hindi cinema. And my father, people would stand up if they heard his name.
I remember the recording of the lovely Lullaby with Lataji. That was recorded at 4 o'clock in the morning at Free Sound Studios. Till then, it was not, there was no okay, it was just going on. And Ram Narayan's opening this thing, music is superb. I think it's one of the high points of the film. And the other thing is, Meena Kumari was very upset after Parinita that my father hadn't cast her. So she demanded that my father put her in the film. So he's invited her for the song. She's there in the screen. She's the one sitting there with the baby. And there is Nirupa Roy sitting and dreaming of her unborn child. I think it's one of the high points of the film. It's one of the loveliest loris, I think.
I interviewed Tapan Sinha, and he described the way Baba shot, Do Bigha Zamin. He apparently ran through the streets with the camera, okay? And then he also sat in a rickshaw and took shots. He had never seen anybody shoot like this. And then I spoke to Mrs. Salil Chaudhary. So she stayed in Mohan Studios, where Baba's office was. And Baba had a first floor editing room, like it was bungalow. And apparently she and Salil Kapoor stayed there. And she remembers seeing the shooting of, she saw Balraj Sahni apparently in dark clothes. She said orange, I don't think that's, but later she realized that that's the way it's to be photographed, to look sort of shabby or dirty or whatever, And my feeling only is that, I'm quite amazed at the attention the film is getting now. It's a 72-year-old film. And it's being written about everywhere. It's big news that, Do Bigha Zamin is being shown in Venice. And I have figured this out. And obviously, the film is very relevant even now.
My children had a very dynamic and charismatic school principal. She was the founder of the school. She was also a writer and author. And she was from Karnataka. She, by the way, is Shyam Benegal's cousin. She said, whatever values we learned were from your father's films. We never forgot. They taught us how to live.
Baba was invited by Bombay Talkies to make a film here because the Bengali cinema had halved due to partition. And New Theatres was in a very, very bad state. His concern was how to survive, not only in Calcutta, how would everybody survive? His assistants like Rishikesh Mukherjee, Nabindu Ghosh, Paul Mahindra, all of them. So then we came to Bombay, that was 1951, February, and it was a 2-day journey through from Calcutta to Bombay. And one of the persons who helped my father, has to be mentioned, is his best friend Hiten Chaudhary. Hitu Kaka, we used to call him. So he was all in all at Bombay Talkies. Devika Rani had left, Vacha was there, and Hitu Kaka was there, and Ashok Kumar. They were all looking after Bombay Talkies. So they invited Baba to make Ma, and I believe he was paid a phenomenal amount to direct Ma. Ma didn't do too well at the box office. And Baba always wanted to go back to Calcutta. He didn't want to work. He was not very comfortable here. But then Ashok Kumar told Baba, I want you to direct Parinita for me. I've got the rights, and don't go back. You can go after Parinita. So that's how Baba started shooting for Parinita. And Meena Kumari was also selected. It would have been one of our first films. And against Ashok Kumar. And Baba started shooting Parinita. I am there in the film also. If you see the film, I'm there in one of the songs. And during the day he was shooting Parinita, And he started production, started shooting Do Bigha Zamin in the night. Whatever little was done at Mohan Studios was shot in the night. And then most of it was shot in Calcutta. I believe he brought the Arifex camera to shoot the film. And that's when he called his cameraman for Kamal Bose. And Ma was shot by Wishing, Joseph Wishing, the German director who had shot Mahal. And this is the way we started. And we were staying in the Devika Rani's bungalow, where she had left. It was a very funny bungalow at the corner. I remember 57 Daddy Set Road. We were there for 1.5 years. And everyone stayed with us. All Baba's assistants, my mother used to cook all Bengali food. And they would come in the night. And Rishikesh Mukherjee used to read Mahabharat just to tell us stories in the night after the shooting. It was great fun.
So we interviewed Jagdeep, and it was quite, his memories are amazing because he said that apparently Baba never treated children as children. He treated them on par with adults, right? So he used to speak to them in that. So he got, and he said, I got this complete freedom. I suggested this song, you know, that Kolkata mein aayi ke, whatever. And he said, of course, karo. You know, it was like, so he said he gave so much space to even kids too. The first time I saw Do Bigha Zamin was after Baba died. And there was I think it was his first death anniversary, and there was a film society.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
Yeah.
At Tarabai Hall.
No, not Tarabai.
Then?
This was at Chitra Mini.
Okay.
I still remember. And I was completely, what should I say? The film kind of decimated me. I can never watch that film again. I think
Same here. It's same here.
You know, and I maybe identified with the boy and the father or whatever, but it was completely like.
You know, we have cousins in Delhi, my mother's sister's daughters, and they're quite a bit older than us. I think the oldest, Bakudi, she's the only one who's surviving. She's about 93 now. And I called her to tell her this news that Do Bigha Zamin has won an award. And she said, oh my God, really? So I was just thinking to myself, does she remember? I said, do you remember, Do Bigha? She said, what do you mean? I remember seeing it for the first time. It was released in Delhi. She said Regal. I'm not sure if she knows. She said it was a special show. And then it was released. And my father took all of them. And she said we sat and cried all through the film.
I remember going on location shooting, hunting with my father early morning one day. And he had a Chevrolet car. So we drove there, and I must have been just 10 or something. And we drove all the way to Warsaw. And only rice fields, paddy fields there, green absolutely. So he shot a lot of the shooting there. It was the first Indian film to be released at Metro. There were no Indian films released. It was given for limited 2 weeks. And the premiere of Do Bigha Zamin was absolutely outstanding. Every star was there, everyone. They were being asked to give little interviews by Balraj, Sunil Dutt, and he claims he met Nargis ji first time there when he was doing her shoot recording there. Raj Kapoor wasn't at all angry or annoyed seeing that little thing about Awara Hu with Jagdeep has sung.
First Filmfare Award, there were 5, right? And Baba got 2 out of them. Apparently Raj Kapoor commented, ye dhoti wala kahan se aa gaya? You know? Like, how come he's come and taking all the awards? Then, of course, there's this famous story about Baba going to Wellington in a dhoti and not being permitted, you know?
Yeah, he was not allowed.
He was not allowed. And J.C. Jain was there.
So everybody was very embarrassed and they came running and, even the hosts in the club. So manager, so they said, Mr. Roy will get you a suit. He said, I will not enter. If I cannot wear my national dress, I'm not. We went home. My mother was very disappointed.
I think Reggie Peck has come and she was very upset.
No, but he always wore dhoti. That was his signature. He always see his old photos of any important function. I'm sure when he went to Delhi or won the, Kabuliwala won, the little girl won that, Nehru gave that award, I think. Yes, there's a lovely photo of her. She was our neighbor, the little girl in Kabuliwala. She used to come and play with Joy.
We were playing in the living room. And Baba was home, I don't know how. So he bent down and whispered something in Sonu's ear, and she nodded and she sprinted out. Okay? Then she sprinted back and he said, yes. That was him
Signing,
telling her that, will you act in the film, you know? So she went and she got permission and she came back instantly. Like that was, you know, in the Sona, baby Sona she was called, who played Sujata. She said they were very, very poor and they lived across from the studio. Yeah. They said whenever we were hungry and we had no food, we'd come there at lunchtime and we were sure that we'd be fed.
Yeah, Jagdeep's story was heartrending. He said the little children, he said he slept on the footpath with his mother when they came from the village. And every morning they would go to the studio gates. They weren't allowed in until and unless they had a role and were called in, and they would be waiting for someone to call if someone needs a child. And apparently he had told the little girl, the other girl who played Shashikala's younger self, he told her, you know, Vimalda is looking for a little girl for Sujata, and that's how she got that role.
Do Bigha Zamin was a platform for so many people to appear on screen. Nabundiba was there as Kulfiwala, and Mahmood was there. No, Mahmood was the Kulfiwala.
No, Mahmood was singing in the chorus. Singing in the chorus.
Singing in the chorus. Also, Noorji was there, and there was this fantastic heroine from Calcutta, Rajlakshmi Devi, the one who runs the plump. She was a very, very famous actress from Kolkata, and they were all in that this thing. On the screen, you see Ashit Sen, my father's, oldest assistant, as the mithai wala, where Balraj comes and says, "Yahan nokri milega?" Bola, "Nokri nahi, yahan mithai milta hai." So he scolds them. And in one scene, his cameraman is there, looking at this thing with the Awara T-shirt on the street.
Apparently, Nirupa Roy had only played a goddess up to that
Yes,
time.
that is one very important.
And he cast her as a village woman, right? She had the guts to do that. Yeah. Balraj Sahni was an English gentleman. He came from England. He used to only wear a suit.
Oxford.
Suddenly, he was turned into a rickshawala.
Yeah.
People were amazed at the kind of... So he kept doing this. The sadhana fringe in Parak, gone. He changed her hair completely.
So Balrajji used to be a very sophisticated man. He'd never worn anything except suits. He was an English lecturer. And how he was selected has been documented by him in a lovely article which has come out in my book. He said one thing. He said the shot where he is trying to convince the zamindar not to sell the land, he said after the shot, he bent down to touch his feet and he said, I just could not, Dada had said, done that. He couldn't get up. He said, I was so emotionally moved by that. I kept on, I was down on the floor, crying my heart out during the shooting. During the shooting, he said, it was such an impactful film, shot, that, that character, he gets up, he just goes away, that Zamindar's character. It is absolutely, he was completely into the role. When you enter a rich man's house, a peasant, rub your feet against this thing, take the dust off. He does that. You see the detailing of the way he has envisaged his way, it's fantastic. After Garam Hawa, both Garam Hawa and Do Bigha Zamin, Balraj's performances are absolutely brilliant. It's really become a metaphor for farmers' condition. It's discussed every now and then, even in the parliament, about their, the suicides, farmer suicide. It's really, truly relevant today. It's an amazing film. Everything worked in that film. Everything worked. Even I can't watch the film because the end is, really so poignant. That shot of the hand, picking up the earth. I just, it's remarkable. Just that shot.
My mother wanted to change that story, She didn't want, in the original, I don't know if they shot it, but Nirupa Roy dies when she comes from the village and then she has that accident.
In the Calcutta version, she is killed. he had to reshoot the end because people couldn't take it in
No,
Calcutta.
my mother said nobody, it's just too, tragic. You can't have complete hopelessness.
I think Do Bigha Zamin is probably one of the biggest milestones in my father's life because he started his production, first film. So it was a statement that he was making, that this is me. He was introducing himself as a producer. And he had the guts to make a film like this. But then his first film, the Bengali film, Uday Pathe,
Oh my God.
also was a landmark film.
Landmark.
There's too many stories about it. No point in talking about it now, but
Really?
it's fantastic.
Influenced everyone, including Ray. And when you play that film today, everybody stands up. You know why? Because the title music is Jana Gana Mana. Baba used it in 1944. It's the orchestration. It's not voice. There's no one singing the song. But everyone stands up. The moment you start the film, I had a show in Calcutta, people were unprepared. The moment the film started, everybody just suddenly stood up, and it's remarkable. I mean, that places in history of cinema. Satyajit Ray told me that, with that one film, he just, sort of discarded the acting style which was prevalent in cinema those days. He said he brought it closer to life. So that's why I think one of the reasons why Baba's films still inspire and are not dated is because of the kind of acting he has got. It's wonderful the way he's made them act.
So since she's talking about Uday Pathe, I'll only say one thing. Baba apparently approached Mr. Sarkar. He wanted to direct. So he was fond of him. He said, okay, but there's a condition. You
Cut
can use
piece.
only the
Cut
remnant
piece.
pieces
Yes.
from whatever other films are being shot. So he took up that challenge.
Cut piece film. It's
That's-
called the cut piece film.
He shot with all pieces of, can you believe this?
But the film that will always catch their attention is Do Bigha Zamin. There is nobody who hasn't heard of that film. Oh, Do Bigha Zamin. So whether they know Bimal Roy or not, their parents must have talked about it, their grandparents must have. That film made an impact which is till today it hasn't lessened, I think. Not 1 degree.
Any list that's prepared of the 10 best films in India till today always has Do Bigha Zamin. And one list has Do Bigha Zamin and Bandine in the top 10. I would say the way that I admired this film because of this quality, that it's everlasting, completely. According to Ma, what she said was
sure.
that he was a humanist. More than socialist or any ism, it was humanism.
And also very inclusive. As a human being, extremely, he treated everybody at par. I mean, I've never seen him discriminate gender or class or just, never. He opened his studio, his camera. The younger directors would come. He would say, "You use my studio. You can take my camera." This is on record. Tarun Majumdar, who was a director, Ashit Sen, who directed Mamta and all the lovely films. He invited them. He said, "Yeah, just use. I've got an office. You can use my office. You can use my camera." Very few people would have done it at that time. It was, remarkable. Baba was like a, banyan tree. He gave a chance to all his assistants. The beautiful film of Mujhe Jeene Do is directed by my father's assistant, Rinki Roy Bhattacharya. It's one of the outstanding films of dacoit. I think it's the first of its kind in that. He also directed Usne Kaha Tha. So Mani Kaka used to be Baba's assistant. And he was very, very much like my father, very quiet man, didn't speak too much.
I would say that the amazing part about Baba is that his generosity. He gave a break to every single assistant of his. He produced films with them. I don't think there's any producer till date or director who has done that for them. He really took them up and promoted them. And Gulzar has always said that, he was the principal of a school. We were the students. It was like people were learning.
We had a whole list of reviews when Do Bigha Zamin was first shown in England, in London. And I don't remember the name of this critic, but he had said that it's very unusual to find such a pessimistic film coming out of a country at a time of great, resurgence, and when it had just the whole, euphoria of freedom was still there, and everything, Nehru, etc. Why did he make such a dark and because I think he felt very deeply about these issues and he wanted to talk about it. I don't think it could have failed, because I think that is why the honesty and the integrity with which he made every film.
The story of Do Bigha Zamin was written by Salil Chaudhary, and his wife, whom Joy spoke about, she told me, I have to be very close to her, Kakima. She said, the day we got the telegram to Salil to come to Bombay, your father sent us, was our wedding day. And they came as a newly married couple, and they were staying as Mohan Studios that she talked about. Salilda was very, very close to Baba, very close. And you see the way he, used two composers, either S.D. Burman or Salil Chaudhary, either of them. And Madhumati, of course, has to be talked as far as Salilda is concerned, because it's got maximum number of songs. In fact, it had 12 songs, 2 were deleted. One was a chorus by Dijen Mukherjee, but then because of the length of the film, and everybody told my father, I said, he is a flop director. Don't take Salil Chaudhary. You take Naushad ji, you take, Shankar Jaikishan. Baba had already signed Salilda quietly, and he composed the music. And what music! Even the title music of, Madhumati is outstanding. It should have been on record. So after the film was released, Salilda bought a LP record, and first record he gave to S.D. Burman. He went there in that house called Jet. So he heard all the songs. He said, Salil, after this, if anybody calls you a flop director, just go back to Calcutta. They don't deserve you. He signed 19 films after Madhumati. Salilda signed 19 films. I have never seen anybody cry like that after Baba died. I mean, he was inconsolable. I stopped crying after looking at Salil Kaka. He was just inconsolable. It really like he lost his father. It was amazing, the kind of bond they had. Fabulous. Understanding, I mean, they didn't even need to chat or anything. The trust he had on Salilda's music, he was one of the outstanding persons who could give the background. Do you know who has given the background music of Devdas? It is Salil Chaudhary. After the film was complete, late at night, Baba and S.D. Burman, who gave the music for Devdas, visited Salilda, and he said, Kya hua? Why you come so late? So he said, Dada, there's something, a request you have to make. So S.D. Burman said, Salil, I cannot do the background music of Devdas, you have to do it. He said, what are you talking about? I can't do that, you've given the music. So then my father said, yes, I know he's very, very serious, you do the background music. So he said, I will do the background music of Devdas only under conditions my name was not mentioned. Can you imagine this? Nobody knows. I was told this by somebody who runs a salilchaudhary.com in Amsterdam. He came and told me. I said, amazing, none of us knew that. And this is the centenary year of Salil Chaudhary, centenary year of Ritwik Ghatak, who said in one word, he said, Bimalda pulled out cinema from going into the ditch.
I was 10, going on 11 when Baba died. So I have no memories of Baba, except as a sick man. It was a terrible thing. Had cancer. So I didn't really know my father, but I was very happy because Ma was my mother, father, everything. She was so I didn't miss him, which is very strange. But as I grew older, I began to miss him, very strangely. I have no idea why. Finally, I made a film on him, which was actually by default. I kept telling Nasreen Mundi, you make a film. She said, no, you make a film. I said, I can't make a film on my father. No, you make it. And Navindu Ghosh came to Bombay, he was in Calcutta, and he said, Baba, ami kintu more jabo. Meaning, I'm going to die. So you come and meet me. Nasreen was there. She said, this is something telling me and you that you have to shoot. So anyway, that's how I came to know my father, by talking to all the people who had worked with him. And I heard some fascinating stories, which I will not get into because there are too many. But one I'll tell you because it showed his, he was a perfectionist. And he had to have just that. So that was a famous story about Sujata. There's a leaf that twirls in a music montage and Nutan twirls below it, right? So he waited one full day for the breeze to come. Finally, Kamal Kaku got fed up. He said, "Ekta fan lagiye kore di." So Baba told him, "Kamal, tumi kichu shekebe. And you haven't learned anything till today." So he exposed 10,000 feet for that 10-foot shot. Okay? Now, about Kabuliwala. Kabuliwala was directed by somebody else, Hemant Gupta. So Baba didn't see it till when the rushes. And apparently, Mr. Shah told me, he sat like that after seeing it. He said, "How much money do we have in the bank?" And by fluke or whatever, Sujata had been given tax exemption. So there was money in the bank, which never used to be there. So I think Shah Sahib said, I think about 2 lakhs. Okay. He reshot everything. So Mr. Shah was Gujarati. He couldn't believe this. He said, "Dada, what are you doing?" So he said, "My name is on that film. I cannot let this go." He had to have it. If it was not okay, then it was not okay. Finished. I mean, whatever this expense, everything, forget that. I must have that product.
All the colleagues that we speak about, that both my sister and brother have spoken about, were actually brothers. They were family for my father. I don't think they worked, it was like, how to say it? They were like one unit, like one mechanism, an organic mechanism working together, because they just understood each other perfectly, the trust and faith in each other. Otherwise, they couldn't have produced this great cinema. And it was the intention, because they all wanted to make a great film together. And my father has said very famously to his manager, Mr. Shah, "Mr. Shah, I don't make films to make money." I think that is probably his signature.
And his fondness for the younger directors, this I've personally seen. Gurudat was very, very, sensitive and also very concerned after Kagas Ke Phool. So he used to live on Pali Hill, that house, huge big villa. He got the cinemascope screen on in the garden. He had a special show of Kagas Ke Phool. He called the entire film industry. It was a lavish dinner. Everybody said they had khana pina, and they all started going. And my father told everybody, he said, "You've not come here for a dinner party. You've come here because Guru needs you all to support him, to say something." He was the only one who stayed behind. I was there with him. I was there that night. And then Gurudat said, Khan Sahib is staying in our house. Dilat Khan Sahib was staying in his house. He said he's going to play, recital. Still, everybody went away. Nobody made a comment except my father. Was considering him probably for Devdas. I was there at the lunch and we were all laughing. We said he would make round this thing.
But Baba's nickname for Gurudat apparently was Devdas. We used to call him Devdas, not Gurudat.
Yes. So these are stories which I have been, lived through them. And I listened to Khan Sahib. We all fell in love with Vilat Khan Sahib. It was such a handsome man. He also used to sing. When he played the sitar, he used to sing with the sitar. Total support, not just affection. He treated them as part of the, family, like family members.
I don't think we even realized what we had with my parents, what they gave us, the kind of, courtesy, elegance, honesty, and a house and a huge heart. There is nobody turned away. I mean, Rinki Bhattacharya's brother and his wife came and stayed with us. I don't even know for how many years. My uncle, Bimal Roy, came and stayed with us for 6 years because he was at that time with Films Division, Bombay. And we never felt it. Shivendra, we were 2 bedrooms. And we just accommodated. It was the heart. It wasn't anything. It's not this whole thing about space, giving people space. It was just so much love that flowed in our house.
It is amazing, Shivendra, what you've done is not just restore the film, but to take it to that height and bring it back into public consciousness is something which we are in your debt completely. It's something which is incredible. And I hope this happened with the other films also, with Bandini and Madhumati and which are Devdas. They all deserve to be seen again and again. I don't think there's better Devdas. How many times has Devdas been made? 12 times? But still people go back to the Bimal Roy version. Even the big production like Sanjay Leela Bhansali's, He dedicated it to Saigil and my father, but unbearable. You know, so these films really deserve to be seen again and again by newer generations. And I'm very glad that courtesy your foundation, this is happening. And I hope also that you include Sujata, which is another incredible film. It's not, you know, my father's films are not preachy. He's taken subjects which could have become preachy and unbearable. But the way he's handled the subjects, all of them are amazing literature pieces. Sujata is one of the finest stories by Shubodh Ghosh. Bandhani is also one of the finest stories by the writer. You know, each of them. Look at the 3 Sharat Chandra films he's made. Parinita is one of the most, I would say, a very gentle film. I mean, I love the, you know, way he's handled it, the way he's handled the relationship. It's beautifully done. So these really deserve to be done. It was not our production, unfortunately, but otherwise it's fantastic.
I think she said it all, but I have to thank you, Shivendra, because you are the beginning and the end as far as this is concerned, and we are absolutely delighted and thrilled that the whole family is going to be there in Venice. Some 20-something, I don't know how many, have lost track.
22,
Everybody's children, grandchildren, the whole jing bang lot,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like amazing.
Yeah, Shivendra, I haven't been able to take it in yet, you know. I must thank you from the bottom of my heart. And it's like a dream come true. It never imagined. I think it's like my father's, you know, the year of Bimal Roy. I really feel that. I think people are going to remember him because, you know, my brother said, of course, that every list has Do Bigha Zamin, but there are many books written on the best directors in which my father's name is not included. So I think he has stood the test of time like very few people have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.